Good afternoon, everyone. This is Creedmoor with the Bullish Bears, and this evening we're going to go over what my lower indicators are. I've been getting a lot of questions in the past and most recently as well about the indicators I use. You all see the charts that I post up, and they have a bunch of colors and a bunch of lines, but we're going to talk a little bit about what they mean. Now, this isn't going to be a completely in-depth, this is exactly how to use each indicator, but more of a general overall of what it is and what I like to use it for. So let's hop on over. Alright, so the chart we're looking at here is IGC. Now, IGC, this chart here is from September 20th, almost at 3 o'clock, 15 minutes to 3. So we're going to have that playing in the background, and I'd really like you to keep an eye in this area right over here. And what it is this chart is going to play out to do what I call a lowbrow cup and handle, but it's still a cup and handle pattern, but it's not as defined as a regular cup and handle. But you'll see all these indicators here will lead up to showing you how to see that lowbrow cup and handle. Now, I do not recommend that a beginner have this many indicators, as this is a lot of data for a new trader to be able to even recognize, let alone comprehend it. So my best recommendations is to start out simple and then add one indicator each week. Really is a good time zone, because the entire week gives you a chance to really see how that indicator plays and how it fits into your trading style, because it's better to have a week with one indicator than to put up 5 indicators and then try and trade with all of them, and it just ends up being a big hassle. But yep, let's go ahead and hit play on here, and like I said, just keep an eye in this area for what starts to form. Alright, so as that's forming, we're going to go over the first low indicator that I'm going to talk about here is this is your standard volume right down here. It's on every chart. You see it as soon as you load TOS. It's just a standard volume chart indicator. But what I have different is I have actually blended my MACD histogram over my volume, and the reason I do that is that it kind of condenses down my screen, and the MACD does follow with the volume, and they kind of help play off of each other. What the MACD is, and I'll pull it up here on my study set. See, bring it, edit studies, awesome. Okay, so you can see right here in the volume column, I have the MACD histogram, and it's on the 12-day, 26, and 9. Now, let's bring it up here in the settings. So as you can see is the different signal here. I have mine set up as the dots. Now you can set them up as anything. You can put it as arrows, dash lines, small dash lines, squares, triangle, whatever you feel like you can put it up. But I prefer the dots, as I like to do when it's a bright green dot, which as you can see right here is a positive up signal. That's my idea to start looking at this ticker as, do I want to get in it? Do I not want to get in it? You know, how is direction looking? And I never really get in on the first green dot. I have on trades previously, but that's because I had previous data. But it's just a good idea to show you what the stock is really doing. So you have an up signal here, which I have in light is the lighter green, and then you have the down signal, which is the arrow. And what that does later on to show you is it will just put an arrow set up there at what the MACD is doing. But yeah, that's my settings. The slow indicator here is 26, and what that is the 26-day average. The fast length is a 12-day average here, and then the 9 is kind of like the 9 EMA. And what it does is it takes all of that data and it plots a line on how the stock has been doing over a history to kind of get an idea of what the stock is just going to do in the next few moments. But that's how I have my MACD set up, and that's pretty much the stock settings. Some people adjust this to 25 or to 27 to get more data into that MACD signal. But the longer the day is on the slow and on, the more data it has to compile, and the slower that the indicator is. You always hear lagging indicators and terms of that nature. Well, that's what it is how long it lags behind the price data. Your level 2 is an instant data because that's price action and everything. You can see that, but all of these lower indicators are lagging style indicators, and that means they're a certain time period behind what's actually happening in the ticker itself. So, all right, we'll just hit OK there. And all right, I didn't change any of the settings or anything, but yeah, that's my MACD. And you can see right here, if I zoom in, looking at the ticker, you see this downtrend as it's going in here. You can see just see it tick down. Right here in the price action, you can tell the dark circle here is it beginning to trail down, and then this is a positive down signal, or I mean a negative down signal on it, and you can see that that correlates with the candles. The right here I have the orange is my down candles, and the green is my upsell candles. And you can see price action change. Momentum is starting to change here, and boom, you can see that, and it reflects here on the MACD. And it goes and it goes, and then as the chart started to turn around here some, now you can see here you've almost got the base of the cup here, and you can see here that sentiment started to change with the ticker itself, and the MACD started to go up, and right here you have the first green MACD signal. But let's look here. If you had gotten in on that first green dot, if you'd have waited for that candle to close, you'd have got in the 184 range. Well, what did it do? Even though the MACD was still green, we still had a tick down all the way down to 82. So that's a 2-cent move. Now, the MACD stayed green, but still, you still had a down tick. So that shows you can still have price action changing in here, and the MACD still remain a certain color. So you got to keep that in mind when you're setting stops and everything, because once again, this is a lagging indicator. So you could have a candle here to drop 30 cents all of a sudden, and you would not see it on the MACD until that candle was finished. So that's one thing to keep in mind when you're looking at it. But all right, that kind of covers the MACD histogram indicator, and I'm going to make more videos that go more in-depth onto each one of these indicators, a little bit on the history and specifically how they're used. Well, you can see right there, you just got a red and a quote-unquote down signal from the MACD here, and that's something you hear me say a lot, is the MACD and the TTM are turning around. And whenever you hear me say that, that means that the ticker is showing a sign of a downturn, and you can see that correlated right here with the TTM. And since we're there, I'll go ahead and go into that. So the TTM squeeze is it's a very good indicator for not just overall, I guess, sentiment of what the ticker is doing, but it's also good for planning entries and exits. Something I used to do is, so right here you can see it shifting. This is, well, here, I'll just bring it up. Let's see. Oh yeah, I gotta go back over here to studies. Okay, bring it up. There we go. Okay, so on my TTM squeeze, so it just kind of brings out the colors and shows everything. The dark red, negative and down. The yellow, it's still in the negative ranges, but it's making its way up. Positive and down is the dark blue, and then the light blue is positive and up. Good price action, moving up strong. So, and then here on my squeeze alert, I have a white candle, and that just tells me when everything, all the conditions have been met for a squeeze to actually happen, to be happening, and for the Bolins to come into effect and all of that. But I'll go more into that in depth on that on another video. So, okay, that shows you the color action. Right here you can see, and it correlates. You can see between this candle, the MACD, well, and there's a very good example. Let me see if I can zoom in here a little bit better. So you can kind of see this gap right here in the MACD. But what you see here is you still got a full candle. So, yeah, it's kind of a secondary safety, because this gap right here happened. I mean, look at this candle. You have 188 all the way down to 182. So that's a 6-cent move. But on a stock here, that this full range is 194 down to 180, 14 cents. So that's 6 cents out of 14 cents. That's what, 40% roughly? 40% drop of that range, in a couple seconds. So you got that gap there. But it was seen by the TTM. But how I use it is it gives you overall sentiment of what people are thinking and how the trades are going. So we have red, 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 and then we see some more buying action coming in here. Now, once again, this is a lagging indicator, so you see all of these green positive candlesticks here, but you've got a little bit of yellow. And one hot tip, when you see right here, it's almost like a tweezer signal when you see these two yellows here. If these two yellows are almost dead even, then usually it is going to tick to a red. Not always. Not always. I can't say it always will because nobody knows exactly what's going to happen with a ticker. But that's something I've seen as I've traded. And it goes down and it goes down. And then we have more buying action coming in here. Buy, 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 and the yellow. And then we had some sell. Boom, look at that. We have a dark green here. We got two red candles and an indecision candle right there. And what do we got? Red stick. Boom. But then we got more buying action. Buy, 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 and then bam. Sentiment has changed. We've had all of these buys coming through here, and then it's kind of in a positive trend. And what I like to do, and it changes for each ticker, is I like the second or third light blue over the TTM. And that's when I'll look to get into a trade. And then when I see a dark blue, I start to go, okay, it is time to get out of here. Let me, check that my stop loss is in. I always make sure I do that before I get fully into trade that my stop loss is in. But if I want to move it, which I traditionally don't, but this kind of lets me know if I need to lock in profits or not. But as you can see, it did not do a full range of blue ticks. It actually went up to the some more light blue. Here, and then more light blue, and then bam. We have a lot of selling action going here, profit taking. So if we correlate price action, let's go for the upper side of this, just to give a smaller. So the light blue started at 184. Our first dark blue, as you can see, profit taking right in here, was 4 cents up. So people doing a 5-cent move on it, since it is such a small stock, they're buying 5, 10, 15,000 shares. 5-cent profit off of that. Even if you bought at the top of that candle, you'd still have around a 5-cent profit. So more sell, and then boom, right up here, 192. So let's say you got in midsection that candle, 183, 182 range. There's your 10 cents right there. All the selling action happened from people taking their 10-cent profit and sell, sell, sell. And you see a lot of selling action in here. And you can see that the MACD is showing that as well. So that's something to keep an eye on. And these signals here, if I was reading it in a live chart and everything, I would say, oh, hey, that's looking like it's going down. I've got red here. I've got red here. The momentum is showing a downtick here, as far as the medium average of how many shares. But what do we have here? The RSI, it's starting to get up here to the overbought section. The top line is overbought. The bottom is oversold. Now, that's just something to keep in mind. Let's move down to the momentum here. It's, as I was describing, so this here is kind of like a base average for the day. And as the day goes on, this base average here will just kind of fluctuate a little bit. But this is everything over that, and then everything under is obviously down here. This is more than average volume, and you can see it correlates here. We had more people buying. The MACD correlates to, brighter greens, and look at that. Boom. Buy, buy, buy. So, you've got to use these indicators all together. But like I was saying before, for a new trader, that's a lot of information to try and understand to plan a trade with. And another thing to keep in mind is I scalp. I use a lot of these as a scalp idea. So if I get in on the top of this light blue, I'm more than likely selling right in here for a 2 to 3 cent profit. Depending on momentum action, it could end up being 10, 15, or 5 cent. But, I'd go very quickly. And, I mean, that's an entire, couple minutes right there, and I'm in a trade anywhere from 10 to 15 seconds, sometimes a little longer. I've been known to do it up to 5 minutes, but I really do not like to stay into a ticker very long because of how volatile a lot of these lower cost stocks are, quote unquote penny stocks. Anything under $10 a lot of people like to call a penny stock, even though it's still in the dollar range. Anyway, let's move on now. That kind of explains what the momentum thing is. It just tells you, how much sentiment is in a positive or negative move and on the shares traded. Okay, RSI, same thing, but it's in a different format. RSI, it stands for Relative Strength Index. Now, what this does here is it's your overbought and your oversold. Per amount of shares that have been trading that day, there's an algorithm that TOS does, and it brings all that together. But right here, we have what's called the 70 mark, and then down here is the 25 or 30 mark on this one. On my 5 minute, I have a 25 mark set up. What it is once everything reaches about to the 70 here, and it gets above 70 or at 70, with history. If you look back in history, you can see most stocks, once they hit about right here, they tend to trail back down. That's whenever you hear it say, oh, the RSI is starting to show overbought or oversold. Well, that's this indicator. The RSI indicator is getting to the top here at the 70 mark, to the top of the channel here. And then, as you can see, right when this hit the 70, boom, what did it do? Start going down. Look back into the history here. What did it do? Got right to the 70 mark and down. And what you've got to understand is that what we do as traders is we're playing off of history, and a lot of the big guys that are doing it, that have much bigger accounts than we do, and or they trade off of the same patterns they've been trading for years, and that's kind of what affects us. It's the same thing over and over. So if you can learn to find the flow from previous history, then you can learn to trade with that. And you see that this is still going down, and it correlates with all that. Even though the price action here has not moved much, you can still see that all these indicators are showing sentiment of the ticker. Going down here. These greens here are showing the beginning of a squeeze, but not that a squeeze has technically occurred, but it is starting to begin one. Once you see a white dot, that's the firing signal that a squeeze has occurred. But yeah, that's another thing key. Now, one of my favorite scalping lower indicators used is here. It's the Shaffer trend cycle. And it's really interesting because it takes in the MACD information and RSI, if I remember exactly correct information, and you can see all of the data points right there. It's all the different data points it uses. But it's a little bit faster indicator than the MACD, but it's still technically a lagging indicator. And what it is as sentiment changes, you get right up here, and when it crosses this line, then you can have a pretty sure indicator that the ticker is going to continue to go up, as you can see here, but it can go down. So look at this right here. Went halfway into the channel, and then right back down. Now, look what happened. We had sell, sell, sell. It wasn't that interesting. There wasn't a lot of action within the ticker, and you can see we have a lot of flat trading here. Very flat here. Red, yellow, red, yellow, red, yellow. Very flat through here. Same thing. Everything floating right at midlines. All of these indicators are showing that, hey, it's flat, and what's this telling me right here? There's not a lot of interest in the ticker right now. There's not a lot of price movement. But what do we have here? More people coming into the ticker. Boom. And then this goes down due to the price action, and then more people coming into it, and then all the selling we had here. Oh, but we got more buyers coming in, and you just saw it pop right there. More buyers coming in. So we have an uptrend here. We have the start of an uptrend here on the RSI. This is getting above the middle level. My TTM here has been showing that, oh, my apologies. Let's zoom that back out and scroll her over. The TTM is showing sentiment change. We got a few green dots here showing that sentiment has changed and price action has changed. So all these are giving me signals. Hey, this might be something good to look at. Let's go ahead and see about getting into it. We wait for the next candle that shows us a good entry point, and then we've got blue, we've got up, we've got up, we've got up. You know, this is well above this here, and that's just saying that, hey, there's a lot of good price action in the ticker, that, you know, it's a positive uptrend, it's something solid. And then right here, you know, sell, 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 and then big sell. Right after that big sell, you can see that this just dropped right here. There's a lot of sell action, wasn't positive up action. But now we start to see right here on the trend cycle that, hey, buyers are coming in, buyers are coming in, buyers are coming in, and you see that it's reflecting here in the chart. So that just lets you know that, you know, more buyers are coming in, there's starting to be some more interest in it, you know, and something might happen. Not that something will happen, but it might happen. But you just got to bring all the data together from these tickers. Now I'm going to fast forward it a little bit because I know what's going to happen in a couple minutes here. And there we go. We have 1, 2, 3. Our trend cycle showing up. Our RSI is starting to get to the top of the channel. So we start to look here to say, well, is it going to go down? Is it going to go up? You can see a red hammer forming, then a green. You know, RSI is getting close to the overbought, and traditionally you'd start to look, well, we're going to start seeing some selling action here in a minute. Will we? Will we not? And you can bring up time and sells to see how that is fluctuating. We see right here on the TTM that we're seeing a couple light blues. So I'm like, okay, I see some green here. A squeeze is trying to occur. We've got 2 light blues here. Okay, buyers are coming in. Oh, look at my MACD. Light green, light green, light green. Oh, look at this volume candle here. Look at all that buy action here. Oh, there we go. We're looking at the RSI here. It's right here at the top of the channel. What are we going to see? Still going up. Still going up. And you can kind of see the breakout point. So I'm going to pause this. Now, if you're actually going to trade this as a true cup and handle, you would have set an alert, a line, something to watch, but you can see, well, let me bring it over here, that our resistance, this came perfect, down, 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 following the indicators, boom, for our cup, and then our handle is right here. Now, what did we get right here at this resistance level? We had some indecision. Is this ticker going to go down? Is the ticker going to go up? No one's really sure until we see. And then we had a candle close, all this buy action here, a candle close above the resistance, which is above all this, which is our signal candle of the cup and handle going to do a breakout. So we'd want to get in somewhere on this candle, you know, best entry point you could on that candle, and it correlates with more buy volume. So you see we have plenty of buyers. Boom, look at all those buyers that just came in. Right there, we have plenty of buyers coming in here, pushed everything up. We had correlation between our MACD, our TTM, and our momentum here. Now our RSI is in the overbought stages, and that's something to keep an eye on because it's overbought. You've got a lot of shares coming through, a lot of volume. So someone could be looking to just sell out right there, and the candle could drop. So that's why I like to use it as a scalper. I like to get in on the candle right after confirmation and then sell either on this candle or the very next candle. Every other candle is a good scalping candle, I feel. It's just how I trade. It's just my style. I'm not saying it's for everyone, but it's a good way that I do it. It's worked for me, but everyone's different. There you go. So confirmation candle, get into here, and then boom, the pop candle. Now, one thing to look back, if you have downloaded the Bullish Bears backgrounds, and we have all those different, all of the different patterns, the reversal, the bullish, the bearish patterns, you can look and you will see, even on that, and any cup and handle you look on for the pattern, that it will tell you specifically. Wait for the confirmation candle, look to get in on the next candle, and then make your decision to buy or, to buy more or to sell. But traditionally, after the breakout, you see this. On a cup and handle that has not rejected, you will see this candle right here. And that's just because everyone is trading that cup and handle the same way. The thing is you have to find your edge on how to get out and when to get out. Now, you could hold on to this and hope that it goes up, bouncing off of the EMA. This right here is the 9 EMA that I have right here in the light blue, and this is close to the EMA. That's another thing. Look how close this price action was to the 9 EMA. So if this went below the 9 EMA and you've got a dark dot here, if this started to turn around to a light blue, if your momentum started to go down some, I mean, we can see here that the overbought, did have a downtick for a second. Maybe I need to look into, cashing in profits and getting out to see if this is going to keep going down. But it's very difficult to tell, for one thing. That's why you have to just trade it constantly. You have to trade the patterns that you enjoy and learn how to correlate those patterns with your lower indicators. But this video has trailed on for a decent amount of time now. But that is the signals I use. That is how I use them to trade my patterns. I'm going to be making some more videos going in depth more on specifically what I'm looking for. But again, those are the lower indicators that I use. And again, I'll bring up this right here. You can freeze frame this video so you can see everything that I use. But on the chart itself, I use a 9 EMA. I use Bollinger Bands. I use a VWAP. I use a 50 and a 200 SMA. I use a MACD with standard settings, a TTM squeeze, a momentum chart, and an RSI chart, and a trend cycle. That is a lot of indicators for a new trader to try and use. Again, I highly state, please do not use that many indicators if you are just starting out. You're going to do nothing but confuse yourself, make bad trades, get frustrated. This is something you have to work your way into. You have to size yourself in to be able to use these indicators. Like I said, one a week once you're pretty handy with your standard stuff, and then you can see what fits for you. And you have all of these indicators here you can use. I mean, look for MACD alone. You got MACD, MACD histogram crossover, two-line prices. There's so many indicators you can use. You've got to find the ones that you like. I mean, even moving averages alone. Look at all these. That's so many. And then monkey bars, next third Friday, that helps you with options and everything. There's so many different indicators you can use. You've got to find the ones that work for you. But like I've said, there's a lot of indicators. Don't use it if you're new. The ones I would suggest using if you are new to start with are the VWAP and the 50 and 200 SMA. Those will not appear down here. They will appear right here on your chart, unless you have something something odd set up on your chart. But there you go. These are the ones I suggest a new trader learn to use, and also put an RSI. An RSI is going to allow you to just to help you with the overbought and oversold, and see how that situation with overbought and oversold correlates with these moving averages here and with the VWAPs. Other than that, that's all I got for everyone today. I look forward to seeing everyone on Monday. Trade safe, trade smart, and again, remember, your trades are in the history. Thank you. This has been Creedmoor with the Bullish Bears.